Dopamine detox, one of the hottest topics on YouTube. So the term dopamine detox became popular on the internet when people started overusing social media, porn, and every other source of instant gratification, and hence felt depleted, anxious, and depressed in their lives. Then they decided to get away from all these sources for 7 days, 30 days, or a specific period of time, which helped to bring their dopamine levels again at normal. They felt good for a few days. But then what? Slowly, you start slipping back into your old habits, old symptoms of poor lifestyle, and feelings of emptiness. So dopamine detox is a temporary solution. Then what is permanent solution? Well, that is what this entire episode is about. But first, we need to understand that dopamine molecule is not our enemy. In fact, without this molecule, humans wouldn't have survived. Why? Because this is the molecule of motivation. The motivation to eat food, the motivation to have sex, the motivation to become stronger and wiser. For example, if you see a pretty woman, you feel the urge to procreate and further reproduce your genes. So dopamine is released to give you motivation to go and talk to her. Then what's the problem? Well, the problem occurred when every company in modern society started over-exploiting this molecule through supernormal stimuli. You see hundreds of pretty semi-nude women on social media every day, which raises your dopamine to work hard on yourself so that you can attract those women. But then you watch porn and you feel relaxed, your dopamine levels go below the baseline because theoretically you just have had sex with hundreds of women, but in reality you just have had sex with your hand or whatever tool you were using. Bro, this is not funny. Now, because your dopamine levels are below the baseline, you no longer have the motivation to do hard things in life, the motivation to pursue a real woman, to have deep conversations with your friends, family, or real people in the world. And therefore, you feel depressed. And guess what happens next? You watch pornographic content again, or scroll through social media to overcome that anxiety. This results in an endless loop. Your time on earth is limited, and what if you spend all your life wasting on these endless loops?
Oh, nice tits. Nice shot, nice shot. Now the image.
Then one day, when you wake up on your deathbed, you realize that you didn't do anything meaningful in your life. You didn't love someone truly. You didn't show any gratitude towards your parents. But now there's nothing that can be done. Just thinking about this is so horrible. But you are living that lifestyle. Just think about this. Highly engineered junk food that releases a lot of dopamine, but in reality, it just represents empty carbs. Exaggerated versions of porn gives you a fake feeling of having a great sex life. But in reality, your legs shake when you go and talk to the woman you like. Social media gives you fake gratification with likes and followers, but in reality, your social life might not be that interesting and you have no people to open up your heart and soul. So should we quit social media forever and never consume any source of instant gratification and enter monk mode? Well, that's your choice. But I have a great solution other than entering monk mode. What if I say social media is not bad? See, listen. Social media is not bad. It's your relationship with social media that sucks. You are watching this video on YouTube, which is also a part of social media. A common man's voice can be heard in this world of powerful people, politicians, and leaders because of social media. Just think about limitless possibilities. People educating themselves for free all around the world. Anyone in the world has the right to express himself. And if his message is meaningful enough, then he can get a lot of appreciation from the world. This is the power only emperors and the most powerful people in the world possessed in our history. So the problem is not social media or all of the things that are available on the internet. The problem is your relationship with it. The problem is your habits. So then what is solution? Well, the solution is to change the sources of dopamine. Dopamine is not only released when someone likes your photo on Instagram. It is also released when you go to gym with your friend, when you talk to new people, when you make real social connections. Dopamine is not only released by pornographic content, it is also released when you are attracted to someone in real life. It gives you motivation to pursue that person. I found a really interesting statistics on YouTube. There are so many positive sources of dopamine like exercising, kissing, real sex, working on self-improvement, achieving something, and the list goes on. So in simple words, we need to spend more time around healthy sources of dopamine so that we don't get consumed by cheap sources of dopamine. The problem with cheap sources of instant gratification is that the dose of substance needs to be increased every time, otherwise it won't be satisfying. Like a drug addicted person slowly wants more and more amount of that drug to get that same amount of stimulation. Pornography gives same effect like cocaine. And someone who is in jail because of addiction to cocaine is no different than someone who doesn't socialize with real people, scrolls through porn 5 times a day while spending most of his time in his bedroom. To get the same feeling of gratification, he will open 10 different porn sites in 10 different tabs on his computer, each tab containing a different kind of fetish, unreal versions of pornography, and it gets worse and worse. Life is beautiful, but the thing is that life is not a straight line. It is filled with ups and downs. Addicted people don't have energy to do easy things in life. How can we expect them to do hard things in life? And the biggest concern is that these addicted people are very young people. A strong man is the one who has self-discipline and is not the one who is controlled by his fleeting emotions or urges. Now, redirecting your focus to positive sources of dopamine is great, but also spend some time in silence and boredom, doing nothing that is stimulating. You will get the best ideas of your life there. Isaac Newton was getting bored and he saw an apple fall from a tree. He discovered the gravity. We always want something stimulating. We always want our phone in our hand. We always want something that is satisfying, that is gratifying, but that is actually unhealthy for our body and mind. Now, porn is much more dangerous for young men. When we feel the urge to have sex, it simply means that our testosterone level is going up. Now, there are 2 ways to handle this urge. Either have sex or transmute that energy in building yourself into an attractive man so that you can attract a good woman and then have sex. But our generation have invented new unhealthy ways, and porn is one of those ways because it is not real sex. Reality is different. People have imperfections, but porn is perfect, like perfect social media models. But that is fake perfection created artificially. And watching people have sex is different from actually having sex. There are other forms of fake sex like casual sex or hookup culture. What a bullshit idea promoted by movies and online media. So in conclusion, don't get consumed by sources of overstimulation. Avoid porn because it is not real sex. Real sex is much more fulfilling. One of the best ways to handle sexual energy is to fall in love. If 2 people have a great physical relation, then they raise each other at every level of health, wealth, intellect, and spirituality. I have a big stack of ancient and modern books on cultivating sexuality. I'm very much interested in this aspect of life because it is one of the biggest motivation at our subconscious level behind most of the things that we do in our life. So the first pillar of the solution is mental health. Understand that the models you see on Instagram that seem so perfect are not perfect in reality. And don't get discouraged by looking at your friends' lives and thinking everyone else is living a great life and only you are suffering. That's not true. Everyone has ups and downs in their lives, but we usually share our wins on social media and not our failures. So you should never judge someone's real life from their Instagram highlights or their social media feed. Now, practical hacks to improve your mental health. Use screen time and app limits for social media apps and turn on wind down so that you don't use social media before going to bed. I don't usually keep social media apps on my phone. I use my iPad for this purpose because it is less portable. Second pillar is create a meaningful and purposeful life. Follow your passion so that you don't have time to waste on meaningless things.
Hard work, but it is worth it.
Work on self-improvement. And the third most important pillar is to have real social connections so that you feel more fulfilled in your life and don't feel any craving to search fulfillment online. And also live around people who have a growth mindset. The three most important habits that will help you in this process are cold showers, meditation, and exercise. You don't need to start all three on day one. I explained how to break bad habits and build good ones in previous episode. If you are interested, go check it out. But before ending, one last message for this episode. Focus on long-term gratification and contentment over short-term temptations. Shape your habits. Start today because tomorrow is too late. See you next episode. Peace.